Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, it's our pleasure to present to you the newest name in Delaware sports and sports around the world, who's had absolutely no success in the real world, so he's dedicated his life to talking sports. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday. And we have, of course, Nevada Nick and the champ. The champ.
I don't know where the champ's at. Looks like we have some kind of, looks like he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award or something. I don't know what that is.
Wait, here, let me put the stat up for him.
Oh, wow.
29-8 since the last Super Bowl. He's got a ton of prop bets for you today.
Right.
So and as do you. So we have a ton of stuff today to get to. We have so much stuff going on. But I think before we get really into the Super Bowl, first of all, I want to share my it's okay. I'm wearing protection. I have my finger condom on today for the show. And I just want to give a shout out to the ladies at the clinic who stitched me up. Got 4 or 5 stitches in my finger because I was just being careless with a knife. That's what happened.
Look, Coach, what matters is it's Super Bowl Sunday and Coach is playing hurt.
That's right.
He's here no matter what. He could have broke his arm or whatever. He would have done whatever he had to do. Oh, and look who's gracing us with their present. Look at this.
Fellas, how's everybody doing today? Sorry I'm running a little late. Had to send the old trophy out to get polished up. Just came back. So, I'm back for the cast. I don't know. What do you think's the better angle here? You think this angle or this is a better profile angle?
I would go the other way, Stizz. I think it's better the other way.
The other way, beautiful.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's what I think. Yep.
Thank you.
So, you guys, is it cool? We start with the Wentz stuff a little bit, Coach?
Yeah, let's start with the Wentz stuff. I'm cool with that. I think that's where I wanted to go before we got into the Super Bowl stuff.
Yeah, because once we get into the game, we're getting into the game. Obviously, a report comes out yesterday that, our boy might be coming back, supposedly Nick Foles and a first-round pick. And they also said about Tariq Cohen, too. We talked off air, the three of us, and I think the Eagles are leaking that. I really do. I think they're trying to generate interest in Wentz. Because I think, look, if they can get a first-round pick, I think you got to pull the trigger. Because Wentz has come out and said nothing. It's pretty evident he doesn't want to be here. I don't think you can bring him back, Coach. You talked about how, the first incomplete pass, interception, how bad it's going to be. I think it's broken. It can't be fixed.
Yes, I agree.
If you get that first-round pick, whatever team's the highest pick, or you think if it's going to be next year that can generate the highest first-round pick next year, that's who I'm pulling the trigger with. If it's the Bears, it's the Bears. But like I said, too, I don't think that's a good thing for Wentz. If I'm Wentz, I would take less money, do whatever I had to do to get to the Colts. Because if he plays for the Bears, he's going to the same thing he's in now. And a worse offensive line, and their one player, Allen Robinson, might be leaving. So I think there will be a lot of question marks in Chicago for him.
Allen Robinson will be playing at MetLife Stadium wearing blue next year. So I'm already leaking that information out. And that's going to happen. That's where the Giants are going to go.
Yeah, look at what Drew Bash said too, man.
I already put that up, man.
I didn't say it. Sorry, I was talking. My bad. Hey, you got a Byron trophy. Wow.
I can't help 14 years in the league. I'm the 3-time champ now. That hustling, bustling of sending the trophy everywhere. Gets broken up after 14 years. It's all banged up. So listen, I had to do what I had to do. New champ, new trophy. I do agree with you guys on the Carson Wentz thing, though, for sure. I mean, Indy would be a great landing spot for him.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor really came through this year.
Yeah.
Look, Chris, I'm not mad that Daniel Jones didn't win anything because he didn't do anything. Okay, what did you want to do? Best fall in the open field? I mean, the 10-yard line or 15-yard line should have got a trophy for tripping.
Best open field tackle. Best field at MetLife Stadium.
That's right. No, wasn't that down at the link? Didn't that happen?
It might have been. You might be right. Yeah,
I think that happened at the link.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with Wentz. Like we said, the Colts. Stizz brought up Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I do think they need some weapons. I really think they could need a receiver or two and a tight end. Because, look, their offense worked last year. But I really think if you get some – because that line's really good. And Jonathan Taylor, little rough start, but he really came on strong at the end of the year. And, I think a lot of teams just wanted to stop the run because you didn't really have to respect T.Y. Hilton and their receivers. I know some people like Pascal. You got Pittman, who they drafted. Now, Mo Alley Cox had a decent year, but I still think if you plug in a nice tight end and you get a good receiver, that really could take the Colts to another level.
Well, don't forget even Trey Burton was on that squad last year. You remember they got Trey Burton from Chicago, and I mean, he had a so-so year along with Mo Alley Cox, but you're right. I think they're at least one receiver away from getting to that next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And quarterback, of course.
Right. But look, you know how it is. It's hard to get that line, and they got it, man. They got Kelly, the center's really good. Quentin Nelson, best guard in football. I mean, and they just look. I like Reich. He'll have those long drives. He'll continue to run the ball, and I think it would be a good spot for Wentz. And look, I think if he goes to the Bears, his career is just going to probably stay where it's at. Whereas I really believe if he goes to the Colts, I think you'll see Carson Wentz getting multiple Pro Bowls again, and I think he'll revive his career. I really do.
I don't know about that. That's a little bit of a stretch for me. Okay. Because look, all right, Nick Foles is a backup quarterback. Yeah. You bring him in, it is Jalen Hurts' job. And if you don't think he's ready, you kind of get him in there and let Foles play some. But, also you got to remember now, Foles signed that big contract with Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And the Bears, now you're going to have to pick up that contract.
It's only $4 million. So it's I guess it got restructured, but it'll be $4 million next year. And I think that's worth it though, Coach. I don't have a problem with that. Getting Nick Foles to back up Hurts, that's not a bad number for a backup QB.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And Chris Lentz said about
Pro Bowl. I mean, what tape are you watching?
You talking about Carson Wentz? No, I said Carson Wentz.
Oh, I thought you said Nick Foles. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think Nick Foles can go to Pro Bowl. No. And look, I know people in Philly love Foles, but he's not going to come here and be Nick Foles in the Super Bowl year. We just don't have the team we did then. I mean, the line could be better next year because it's going to be healthier, but who are the weapons going to be? Do I trust Jalen Reagor? No. I mean,
Well, how do you know? I mean, we didn't really, you don't know yet.
Well, we could have had Justin Jefferson, and we would have known, Instead, we got Jalen Reagor because he returns punts too.
How do you make that correlation when Wentz
Justin Jefferson looks pretty good.
Yeah, but Wentz couldn't throw the ball. He might have had.
I know. He wouldn't have had the year he had in Minnesota.
Right.
He wouldn't have had the year he had in Minnesota. But I think he would have shined. I mean, come on, man. He had Stizz. He only played like 12 games too, right? And I think he had like 1,200 yards or something. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, he was out. Yeah, I think he was out for 4 games. Could have been 5. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he had a monster season, rookie of the year. So yeah. Right. And on Minnesota, opposite Adam Thielen
with Kirk Cousins.
That's saying something. I tell you, I'm going to be contrary to Coach's leak. Boy, would Allen Robinson look good in Kelly Green. I mean, what would it take to get him? You know,
you're $68 million over the cap.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be tough.
You're over the cap. You're not signing any free agent.
Yeah.
Any top tier anyway. Okay.
Well, and the biggest problem is, Coach, if they trade Wentz, you're getting a $32 million cap hit. So it's going to be – they're really taking a huge hit. I mean, that's 20% of the cap. So 20% of your Eagles cap this year is going to Gots, you know. So it shows you what the mistake they made. But, and what did you say? Only problem if Foles comes to Philly the first time hurts. No, it's the truth. I agree with that. And, you got to be patient with Hurts, and you're going to have Foles backing him up, a guy whose statue's out there. And that's a great point, Drew. That's concerning because I really think, and Coach has alluded to this, I think that really affected Wentz, having Foles there and him winning the Super Bowl. I really think I think Wentz is very so I don't know, just kind of soft, like he just seems I agree. That's a good word.
So but also you could say I don't want Nick in the deal. If you're the Eagles, you could say throw somebody else in there.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, maybe a piece that you need somewhere else. I mean, you have a million holes. Maybe they'll throw somebody else in other than and maybe that's kind of why they're leaking that, because they don't really want to do the deal with Chicago because they don't want Foles to come back. Right. I wouldn't want Foles to come back. And if I'm working in the building in any aspect, because it's just not going to work right.
I mean, I love him as a backup QB. I think you can't go wrong. But Coach, I agree. What I don't want to do is look, if you're trading Wentz and saying, look, Hurts is our guy, I don't know if that's the best decision, because we all know, look, I don't think we're going to be a playoff team next year. So you got to build around Hurts. You don't want him looking over his shoulder. Let him take the reins. I mean, obviously, if he gets hurt or something, but it's probably. I mean, look. Foles is a great teammate. I don't think it would be a horrible thing, but I would definitely talk to Jalen Hurts and say, see how he feels about it, and because you want to do right by him. You got a new coaching staff, and you don't want to start, off on the wrong foot. You really don't with Jalen Hurts.
And to your guys' points, I think getting Nick Foles back in the mix wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, Tariq Cohen, you don't want him. I think you got to make Miles Sanders your centerpiece next year.
Yep.
And force feed this guy to death.
Yep.
I mean, he's got to be your main guy. Throw him screens, run him. He's got to rush at least 20 a game, at least.
Right. Yeah. And I really think too, as much as I said before, I didn't want it to happen, I think it's going to happen. I think the Eagles are going to try to get Chase or Devontae Smith, the receiver, and add him to the weapons group. I'm just crazy that how Howie doesn't get any criticism. I mean, obviously he gets criticism from the media and the fans, but man, Jeffrey Lurie, you're giving this guy so much rope, it's not even funny. I mean, he's Matt Millen Jr. now. It's going to be 3 years in a row. Now it's not first round pick, but it's a 2 and 2 firsts. And when you see DK Metcalf, and I know we've said it a million times, and Justin Jefferson, and you passed on those guys, and now we got to take another receiver. When Coach, I'm a guy, I like when you're taking, especially in the top 15 picks, I'm a big proponent of quarterbacks and then offense and defensive linemen. I think, that's just how I feel. Or if you could get a shutdown corner, but that's how I like to, I'm big about the up front and the lines. And
because I'm with you. I feel like the running back receivers are pretty interchangeable. You can find a guy later in the draft, and this draft again is kind of deep receiver wise, and you have so many holes. Now, Eagles, to get back before we
get to the Super Bowl.
Is I think you have 3 more years of contract with Jalen Hurts. You have 3 years, and hopefully you can fix your cap problem in that 3 years and have some space. And maybe he does well enough that you re-sign him. and maybe you move on, but at least you fixed your cap space. You're able to put pieces around so that you could just insert a quarterback in 4 years. You got to look at it that way.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into this, in March when we start talking all the moves and stuff.
And trust me, March is going to be real exciting, Coach, because there's going to be – we already talked about – I mean, I'm really curious to see all the quarterbacks that move. I mean, there's so many question marks. They're talking Cousins, Jimmy G, Watson. Obviously Stafford's already moved. You had the Goff move. They're saying Washington's in the market for a QB. Derek Carr. A lot of rumors about Derek Carr that some teams have interest in him and that the Raiders may go for Watson. And you know what? If I'm the Raiders, I'm doing it. Because you know what? If I'm John Gruden, I'm saying we got Mahomes and Herbert in our division. And I don't want to be throwing Derek Carr at him. Derek Carr's a nice player. But those guys are good. I mean, Mahomes is a superstar. And Herbert looks like a superstar in the making. And Nice isn't going to get it done. You need a Deshaun Watson type player to be able to compete in that division with quarterbacks like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't heard much Watson buzz anytime soon. Kind of Watson off the map. You heard a lot about him, and then kind of nothing the last week or two.
Right, and I think it's a little bit about the Super Bowl and all. And Kevin's 100% right. The Eagles, they've needed linebackers for years, since the early 2000s. They just don't.
Jeremiah Trotter, the last linebacker that you had?
Yeah, probably. I
can't name a linebacker since Trotter.
Nigel Bradham was good the Super Bowl year. I think he might have made a Pro Bowl, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, if you're talking about like a perennial Pro Bowler, real good linebacker. It's been years. They've never drafted a linebacker in the first round either. So, yeah.
And there's another one that you let go by because Queen, I thought, played really well for the Ravens, and So all right, we got the big game. Let's get to the game. We got a lot of stuff because we got a ton of picks. Prop bets and all kinds of stuff going on here today, and it's Stizz riding in on his 29-8 record. Couldn't get to 30 before the Super Bowl, but
he's got 28 props today, so he better get there.
I'm gonna get there today. Yeah, if I go 37, I'm gonna get that 30 mark, Coach.
Right, and look, what a year for Stizz going back to last Super Bowl. Last Super Bowl, Stizz, he swept the board 5-0. I gave out, I think one prop bet, maybe two, but and then I also gave out the winner and the over/under. So me and him combined were like 8-0. So we looking for another good run today in the Super Bowl. And Coach, before we get into the game, is it all right if I talk about the situation with Andy Reid's son? You want to talk about that quick?
Go ahead.
No, obviously Andy's son was it looks like drinking and driving, and obviously he already had the one son who had an overdose at training camp and died, and now this son Britt, and I actually played football against both his sons in high school, and it's really a shame. And Britt had basically turned his life around and was a linebackers coach on the Chiefs, and looks like he was in a drinking and hit another car, and the one kid has life-threatening injuries, and you just really got to wonder, what was Super Bowl week, you know what I mean? And man, he really did. First of all, obviously the kid in that situation is just terrible, but obviously the distraction it brings to the team now too. And you lose your linebacker coach because now he's not going to coach in the game. He's going to be in the hospital. And you got to wonder. I mean, obviously, I think the Chiefs are going to try to have the tunnel vision and just focus on the game. But after the game, they're going to say there's going to be a lot of pressure on Andy, I'm sure, to probably fire his son. You know what I mean? And let him go from the staff after a mistake like that. Because it too, Coach. How do you face your players if one of your players get a DUI or whatnot, and you suspend them, and then they're going to say, what about your son? You know what I mean? And this isn't, I know Andy's a big believer in second chances, but, now, his son's had second chances, and it's a shame. I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. I really feel bad for obviously hearing about a kid being life-threatening injuries. But when you make that kind of mistake, you got to pay for it, and it's going to be crazy to see what happens because it's it's not a good story, obviously.
This is terrible. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, but it's pretty. Yeah, she hasn't woken up since the crash. Wow.
Yeah, and obviously there's more to come. They said the charges wouldn't be filed till after the Super Bowl, but God forbid it's life threatening. If she passes away or something, he's going to have vehicular manslaughter. He's going to be looking at and he has a record too, and past drug convictions, so
right.
He might be looking at serious jail time, and it's just I feel for Andy. Obviously I feel for the families involved. It's just a shame. Terrible. You just got to wonder, his head coach, what are you thinking? Any day, but Super Bowl week too. You know what I mean? What are you doing out drunk, driving your car, especially nowadays? I'll never get it with Uber and everything. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
But I just read that article real quick. And it said he was right by the facility. The Chiefs facility. So what are you drinking on the job? You're drinking on the job at the at the facility. Like that raises some questions for me.
Oh, I agree.
So
yeah.
Oh, that's a little tough.
Yeah. So we'll get to the game now, I guess.
Yeah. Let's rock and roll. Let's get into it because this is it's a big game. It's a home game.
Yeah.
And also, just so you know, the Bucks are not allowed to fire the cannon when they score, which I think is bull crap.
Really?
Yeah. That's stupid.
That's stupid. Yeah. That's it. They earned home field. They should get.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to play, Coach, because technically in the Super Bowl there isn't really home field. The Chiefs had the better record, but you know what? The Super Bowl's in Tampa. So they're the home team. You know what I mean? What are you going to say? They're the away team? Because, and that's the one thing. It's a shame. It would have been cool to see if all the fans were there. Obviously it would have still been corporate, obviously, because there's a lot of people that, don't have a rooting interest that just want to go to the Super Bowl that go to the game. But looking really, it's going to be a great game. I think you're looking at, and look, to me, there's no debating this. No, anybody that debates it, I honestly, if you think there's a debate, I don't think you know anything about football. 1, Tom Brady's the GOAT. No discussion. 2, Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT right now in regards to in the league. Obviously, he's better than Brady where they stand right now. So Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. And I really believe – I think Brady wants this. We talked about it earlier in the year, Stizz, Coach, that he wanted to, prove that he can win one without Belichick. So I think this means a lot to him. And I really believe if Brady gets this Super Bowl, you start talking – I'm not talking about football, GOAT of all sports. I really think he's in the discussion for it. Because if you look about the next guy, Montana's got 4. He would have 7. The resume he has, to be able to have the success he's had to the age of 43, I really think that he's up there with the greats in all sports, not just football. So, I think it's going to be a great game. Really looking forward to it. I'm just going to give my pick. You might as well.
Yeah, let me.
Go, but so I'm gonna. Just let me know when you're ready. So, all right, I'm going to go with the Bucks. I'm going to go Bucks plus 3. I would buy the hook, get the extra half. Let's not forget when the Chiefs played them earlier in the year, they won by 3. Chiefs did kind of jump out at them. Bucks came back in the second half. I really think the Bucks are going to run the football. And this is where I think the Bucks offensive line is better than the Chiefs offensive line. And that's not something a lot of people are talking about. The Chiefs tackles are out today, and that's going to be a big factor. Yeah. So I think the Bucks offensive line's better. I think the Bucks defensive line's better. So I think they're better up front. I really think that defense, all you're hearing about is the Chiefs and the Chiefs offense. 76% of the money is on the Chiefs, so the public's on the Chiefs. And, at one point it was 86%. So a lot of people on the Chiefs. I think the Bucs defense is going to look. Points are going to be scored. We know that. You're not going to completely stop the Chiefs, but I think the Bucs are going to find a way to win. I think Brady's going to have a game-winning drive late down, and like his historic career, find a way to win late in the game. And I like Bucs plus 3.5. I'm going to go Bucs 34, Chiefs 30.
All right. I like it. I like the Bucs too, but I disagree with the whole comeback thing. I think, like you said, with that offensive line, I think that they're gonna get a heavy dose of Fournette, and Fournette's gonna open up that passing game because they're gonna have to bring the Honey Badger down into the box and take him out of that coverage, and it's going to open things up. And I think that it'll be Kansas City playing from behind.
I think it's going to be back and forth. I really do. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Bucs get a lead, and Chiefs come back and, back and forth. But I don't know, man. Me and Stizz talked last night, and he said, he had mentioned, man, if the Bucs win, it's just like this great story. You know what I mean? Like you really couldn't write, and he's right. And Brady went in on the final drive. And look, man, I would love to see it be a 3-point game, so I know I can win. And Brady's got the ball to go down and win it because that would just be great. Obviously football, great TV, great to watch. So we'll see what happens, but. I do think it's going to be a back and forth game, and I do like the Bucs. Who do you got, Stizz?
My take, back, when the playoffs started, I gave out Kansas City and Tampa as the Super Bowl. And boy, did I go back and forth on this one. And, if you review the tapes and go back on the tapes, it took me about 30 seconds to blurt out Kansas City for the win because, I really think, Tom Brady had a good shot. I'm sticking with what I said. I'm sticking with Kansas City. They're -3, unless you buy the hook like you're saying on the opposite side. But I'm sticking with Kansas City with the win. But as I brought up a couple times to you guys, and you guys just mentioned it as well, I really think, much like last year, Kansas City gets down by 9 or 10 points early in the game. They start off slow. You blink, you go to your refrigerator, you go grab a beer, you come back to the TV, all of a sudden Kansas City's up by 4. Yeah. I can kind of see that same scenario and it being maybe a close game after that back and forth. I'll tell you, the storyline, like you said, is almost too good. It's almost too good to be true. First time a team plays at home in the Super Bowl, now possibly the first time, a team wins the Super Bowl at home. I don't know. Almost too good for my eyes. So I'm sticking with Kansas City. I wanted to just one thing. If Tampa Bay does win and Brady does win this Super Bowl, I know he said he's got a couple more years in him. Is there any shot that he goes out in blazing glory? I mean, what better way to go out? I mean, because you're not going to top this. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think? I mean, is there any possibility of Tom saying, you know what, man, that's good enough for me?
Stizz, I agree with you 100%. And if he wins, I would definitely retire. I mean, look, you left the team, you leave the Patriots, you go to a team that didn't make the playoffs and take them to a Super Bowl and win it. But I think he wants to prove that he said, I'm going to play to 45, and everybody laughed at him, and I think he wants to prove it. I agree with you. If I were him, I would say I'm 43 years old. I'm going out on top, and I mean, look, you basically would tie a great bow on an unbelievable career, but I don't think he will, but I agree with you. I would if I were him. Wouldn't you, Coach?
No, dude, that fire is still burning, and he's too much of a competitor. I think he's good. He's coming back regardless.
Yeah. No,
I think you're going to have to drag him. I mean, you're going to have to kick him off the field. I think it's going to be a Jerry Rice, where he kept bouncing around till they finally said, "Look, you're not good enough to make the team."
Right. Well, he said too. He might play past 45, Coach. He said, he thought about it. And look, I don't think I agree in a sense with the Jerry Rice thing, but the one thing I'll say with Brady, if he feels his skills are diminishing, he will retire. I think Brady's got too much pride to go out there, and that's why I think he left the Patriots, Coach. I think he knew I can still play. Belichick's not getting me the pieces I need, and you can see it now. The Patriots' offense was horrendous this year, and I think all of us kind of thought Brady was getting older, and it was a combination of the two. When obviously it wasn't. It was the Patriots and the lack of weapons on offense, and Bill, building his defense and leaving Tom with a bare cupboard. So what's going on, Jerry? And I agree with you, Jerry. But
Bill couldn't coach him up this year. Tom showed him. Tom's laughing. Tom's laughing all over the place, saying, "You know what? I'll take another team to the Super Bowl, no problem."
Well, and look, I still think Brady needed Belichick and Belichick needed Brady. Yeah. I don't buy into the Brady wins a Super Bowl. It was all because of Brady. They both benefited from each other. There's no doubt about that. But, look, there's going to be people, if Brady wins and Belichick never gets one, they're going to say he leaves for 1 year, wins a Super Bowl, however long, Belichick coaches, especially if he doesn't have any success where you get some playoffs or something, they're going to say you never won without Brady. I mean, So I don't agree with it. I think, especially early on in Tom's career, when he won, obviously the first Super Bowl was mainly defense, but early on they were a defensive team. The Patriots, you had all Brewski and, all those guys.
They did have the highest scoring offense coming in that 1 year where they came in undefeated before they.
Right, but I'm talking about when they won 3 and 4. Yeah. No, but I'm talking about when they won 3 and 4. Yeah, but when they got Moss, they had the great offense. But before that, he really didn't have the great offense. That was the defense. I mean, you had Ty Law, Brewski, Richard Seymour. You had the big boy Vince Wilfork up the middle,
and Willie McGinnis. Was he still there? Was he? Still there?
He was there. Yep. Yeah, and then obviously, I mean, you look at that one game. Deion Branch was, I think, Super Bowl MVP the one game. He didn't have much. Troy Brown, the receiver, who was also playing defensive back, he didn't have much. But no, obviously you're right. They got Welker, and then they get Moss, and they have that great offense. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think I think we're going to see a great game. I really do, because I just don't foresee. I know a lot of people might think, the Chiefs might put a shellacking on them, but I just don't foresee Brady in the Super Bowl, because you look at his stats. I mean, most people, the bigger the game gets, the stats get. The bigger the game gets for Tom, the better his stats are. I mean, it's crazy. I think like I said, the guy's just been unbelievable in Super Bowls, and like I said, I really think he's going to come out fired up. I do worry about Arians a little bit. I think Andy Reid's the better coach, but I would hope you should get a good dose of Leonard Fournette today, because I think that you got Wirfs, the kid your Giants probably should have drafted. Really good offensive tackle. The line's playing well, and they got weapons all over the board. I mean, AB's playing, right, Stizz? You said AB is going to go. I mean, you think, Coach. When you line them up, you're going to have AB, Godwin, Evans. And then you got guys like Scotty Miller. You got Gronk still, who, I know he hasn't a great year, but it's still Gronk and it's still the Super Bowl. Brate's been making some noise, especially in the playoffs.
Late in the season, yes.
Yeah, you've seen Fournette catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit. And then we got Ronald Jones. All the talk about the Chiefs offense, people go look at what the Bucs have done the last 7, 8, 9 weeks. That offense has been firing on all cylinders. So it's gonna be a great game.
Listen, if you're an offensive guy, this is the matchup you wanted. I mean, all these weapons. Me. I'm an offensive type. Offensive type Super Bowl guy. And boy, I'd like to see a 58-51 final. I want to see touchdowns all over the board. So this might be the one.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, there's nothing better than the back and forth games, like the boxing fights where, like one guy gets the one round, another guy gets another round. I think of that. First of all, my Eagles beating the Patriots Coach's Giants beat the Patriots. Those great games.
Twice.
And then
Twice, please.
yeah. No, right, twice. Sorry, but both great games, Coach. And then the Patriots have been in some great Super Bowls with Brady, obviously. So we're talking about Brady, not the Patriots. But another great one too was that Seahawks game with the Patriots. That was just an unbelievable game. So I'm curious to see
how do you discount the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history too?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
great point. And which that just shows you about Brady too. A lot of guys, man, you're at the Super Bowl, and I understand he had experience anyway, but still, it, Coach. You're down 28-3 in the Super Bowl on that stage. Not many guys that are going to bring it back.
No.
Not many guys that are going to bring it back.
Right.
The GOAT will do it, man. The GOAT will do it.
All right, hold on here.
What are you doing?
Oh, I forgot to take
you got your headphones
out.
on.
I know. All right, hold on. One more time. We're going to make sure I get it right this time.
Take the headphones out.
I got a
there you
finger
go.
issue.
You want to go from hanging in the alley, dining on pork and beans, to making that money and dining with kings and queens? Listen to Nick's Picks exclusively in the Huddle with Coach Muddle.
There we go. Finally. Got it right. Everybody got it. We're good.
Hey, listen, we're lucky coaches here, man. He's playing hurt.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Been on the IR, just, wrapped them up and got right in. So
that's right, man. Suck it up,
right.
Buttercup. And, I
Coach
said, look,
stepping
man,
up. I give Coach the credit. Stepping up, playing injured.
Look,
nothing
it's the
was
Super Bowl. You don't miss the Super Bowl, okay?
Yeah,
you don't miss.
Hey,
this ain't a regular season game, okay?
Coach called me last night. I was at the casino with Stizz, but I got this voicemail. Coach was blood everywhere. He said, "Look, man, we're gonna do whatever we need to do. If I'm in the hospital, we're gonna have to bring cameras." Coach was talking about doing it from his hospital bed. There's no stopping this guy. He's gonna do what he needs to do. Obviously, we saw the finger playing hurt today. And think too, man. This is much like that Emmitt Smith when he tore his shoulder game with Coach. Every time he's got to hit that button, man, with that finger. I mean, it's Coach really playing hurt. Yeah. I'm sure it is, Coach. And thank you for your performance today, and just gutting it out, Coach.
Right,
really.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Just maybe you should give Coach that trophy. You know what I mean?
I can't send it.
I'll be up Wednesday to pick it up.
Okay, no problem. Listen, I'll have it shined up for you, Coach. No problem at all. I got it.
Get into some of the prop bets.
Thanks, Drew. See, Drew.
Yeah. That's right. He knows. There's from one champ to the other. You know what I mean?
So we're just gonna go right down the line.
You want me to get
hold on.
Why would you do that to yourself? Remember that?
Right.
Now, people aren't going to know what I'm talking about, but Stizz knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So,
good.
Who wants to start with all these prop bets? Because we have a little overlap. I think that Nevada Nick is kind of running on Stizz's coattails a little bit.
It's the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? You got to have some prop bets,
Coach, he's all up on my Kool-Aid. Don't even know the flavor.
Hey, man, I was undefeated during the playoffs with my prop bets. That's all I know.
You are. That's right.
But look, we'll let Stizz finish. He had the great year going 29-7. I'll give up my prop bets. We'll let him cap off the year, with the great year he had. So I'm sorry, Coach. I want to make sure I have them in order properly so when we get to this thing. Yeah, no problem. But hey, man, when you go 28-7, you got to do it right. You know what I mean? So, all right, my first one, I'm going to go to Leonard Fournette.
Hold on. Let me get to you because I have Stizz up first. So let me get to you first. All right.
Flip that around.
Oh, Coach is all look. He looks. Oh man.
Look, I only got one finger.
He's all discombobulated now.
Yeah. Okay. Go. All right. I got you up. I'm here now.
All right. Here we go. So I'm going to start with Leonard Fournette. I think, if he doesn't go over this, I don't see the Bucs winning. I really don't. I think they're going to need to look when the Raiders beat the Chiefs. 35-minute to 25-minute time of possession. So I think time of possession is huge. I think Fournette's going to go over 46.5 yards. I think you're going to need a healthy dose of him. And I really think if they're going to win, you're going to see at least 80 yards from Fournette. And maybe 120 to 150 yards rushing combined from him and Ronald Jones. I think Fournette's going to have a big game. And I look, that's the weakness to the Chiefs is that run defense. So I think they're going to run the ball. And, obviously that's the strength of the Bucs defense. Bucs have the number one rush defense in football. And I really think they're going to come out and play. But I got Fournette over 46.5 yards. My next prop, I took this last year. I'm going to take it again. A lot of Super Bowls start very, very tight. Brady's known for it. Brady in 9 Super Bowls doesn't have one first quarter touchdown. One first quarter touchdown in 9 Super Bowls. So wow. You know how it is, Coach Stizz. You start slow. The stage is huge. You kind of feel each other out, see where you're at. I'm going to go first score is a field goal or safety. Getting a great number, too, plus 160. Yeah. I think we're going to look, and I think it's 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls have started with a field goal. Last year's did because I hit that prop. So I'm going to first score is a field goal or safety plus 160. Then I'm going to go to Mike Evans. I'm going to go Mike Evans over 64.5 yards receiving. I think Brady's going to get him at least on one long shot down the field to try to open things up for the whole offense. And, maybe he gets that 30, 40-yard pass, and then he only needs a couple more receptions. Him and Brady, early on they were having some trouble hooking up early on in the season. Late, they've really, kind of got
Actually, if you go back to that game against Kansas City, there was a lot of miscommunication between them.
Correct.
Which looked, kind of deflated that bubble at the time with
you're right. So I'm going to go Mike Evans over 64.5. And the Bucs were missing some players that game, too. I think Devin White was out. One of their defensive tackles was out. So, look, they're going to have their team today. But, I'm going to go Mike Evans over 64.5. And then I'm going to throw 2 little fun ones out for you for MVP. I'm going to go with the GOAT to get MVP plus 190. And then I'm going to give a little long shot out for MVP, too, because I think this is possible. I'm going to go Leonard Fournette plus 25 to 1 to win MVP. Hey, man, if he gets going and runs the ball and ends up getting 100, 120 yards and a touchdown or 2, he wins MVP. Now, I know these media guys love giving the MVP to the quarterback. Stizz mentioned, I believe, last year, the kid from the Chiefs. I think he had 3 TDs. He opted out this year. I'm drawing a blank on his name. But he opted out this year, and a lot of people thought he should have been the MVP last year and not Mahomes. Mahomes really kind of struggled. Now, he obviously played great in the fourth quarter, but, going into that, the first 3 quarters, Mahomes really struggled in the Super Bowl last year. So I'll take Fournette 25 to 1, put $20 on it or something. But I like it. I think there's a possibility, if the run game gets going, that Fournette could have a big game.
Okay. Now here I see a theme. I see a theme. You are not betting any Kansas City Chiefs, any prop bet with the Chief involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all overinflated. Patrick Mahomes is 329.5 passing. Kelsey's was 100 and something. Me and Stizz saw last night 102.5 or something. I think it's all inflated. I really think the Bucs defense come up to play. And look, like Stizz said, I'm not sitting here. I like the Bucs today. Do I love the Bucs? No. I don't like betting against either of these teams. I don't like betting against the Chiefs. I don't like betting against Brady. But this is just where I'm going. It's not a strong play, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey Diane, we don't know who Chris is, but we appreciate
it. I really think. Obviously the Bucs are going to play a great game defensively. And look, I said the Chiefs weren't going to win a Super Bowl. So I got to stick with it. I haven't been right with my other stuff in regards to, I thought the Saints were going to win it. Obviously I was dead wrong, but I think the Bucs are going to win today. Put that other one Paul just set up.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Wow. I'm going 2.5 hours, Paul, because some of the ones I got in my humidor right now, they're the size of the telephone pole out front. Nice. I like it. My boy.
All right. So now let's get into some of Stizz's stuff here.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Stizz.
Well, I'll start off by saying at 29-8, you might have to mortgage your house or don't mortgage your house on these picks. Listen, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do, but, man, I'm going to ride my coattails, much like Nevada Nick did on a couple of these ones here. You know, if me and Nevada like the same things, you know it's golden. So let's start off here. I got a handful of them for you guys. I'm going to start off with the Chiefs going to convert any fourth down.
Geez, that's not the order you gave me, but it's okay, Stizz. It's okay. It's not the order you gave me.
I'm sorry.
I am one finger down, but it's okay.
I know. You know, that's how I wrote it down. I forget how I texted to you. I'm sorry, Coach.
He's like he's like Serrano from Major League. You can't throw curveballs to Coach, man.
Right. Listen, when I started with you guys on the show last year when I called in, this was one of my winning prop bets. You know, Andy Reid, you know, likes to go. He's a go for it mentality type of guy. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think they're going to be down a little early. They're going to make a come, even if they're not down. You know, he's got enough balls to go for it on fourth down.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth and short. You might see this happen a couple times. They're minus 145. And I tell you, with these prop bets, most of the prop bets I'm going to give you, they're all going to be favored, and you're going to have to lay juice on them. That's how the bookies are making their money. You know, right. So, you know, it is what it is. You're not going to find too many underdogs unless you take something like Nevada took at plus 2,500 or something crazy like that. You know, You're going to throw a shot out there. Matter of fact,
I think that's a great bet, though, Stizz. I really do. Because the NFL is different now, too. It's a much more aggressive, and these teams go for it on fourth down.
Absolutely. So that's your number one winner. Put that in the books. Go out, throw a couple hundred on that. My second one, Tom Brady, over 2 touchdown passes. They're a minus 145 as well. And the reason why I love this is I really think he gets at least 2 touchdown passes. If it was 2.5, I might think about it a little bit. Listen, he gets 2, it's a push. It's a wash. You don't have to worry about it. You know, write it off your board. I had to see him get 2 touchdown passes for sure. He gets 3, we're golden. So, and I think, like you said, it's going to be an aggressive Super Bowl. He's got all them weapons. So let's get Tom Brady for 3. Chalk that up as a winner. All right. Now I'm gonna ride with Nevada Nick, Leonard Fournette, over 46.5 rushing yards. I got them at minus 130. Listen, he went over this number the last 3 playoff games, and I really think this has to be Tampa Bay's plan going in is to run the ball and really to control the time of possession. You have to keep Mahomes off the field, fellas. I mean, this guy is a superstar, the next GOAT. You know, so you want to do what you can to get up, to run that clock, milk that clock, and by doing that, listen, you throw your best rusher out there. And Fournette, 46.5, this looked really cheap, honestly. I'm a little bit weary about this because it just looks too easy, but I'm going to ride it 46.5, third winner. Okay. I'm going to piggyback off of that, and I think he gets in the end zone as well. We got a little underdog here, plus 113. Not much, a little bit over.
Wow, that's a dog.
That's an underdog.
I think that's a great. I love it.
So do I. Because they're going to get on the goal line, 1 yard line, 2 yard line, and what else are you going to do? You're going to throw Fournette out there, and you're going to run him up the gut. Yeah. So Fournette scores a touchdown at plus 113. Fourth winner, cha-ching. All right. Let's move on to Mike. You guys are going to think I'm nuts. Man, this is ballsy, I'll tell you. Travis Kelce, okay? I'm going under. I said under. You got that right. 98.5 receiving yards. He's actually a favorite at minus 125. Listen, Kelce's gone over this number, 98.5, in 8 of his last 10 games, okay? He's had over 8 receptions every one of them games. So you think, you got to be freaking nuts. How can you go under? Well, in my opinion, this guy is the best weapon on the field. I know you got Tyreek Hill. I know you can argue that point. Travis Kelce's the best player on that field. I don't think you could double team him. That's going to be tough because you're going to leave a lot of weapons open. But I think for Tampa Bay to have a shot in this game, you have to stay aggressive with Kelce. You got to bump him. You got to jam him. You got to do whatever you need to do to get him under this number.
I agree with that.
Don't forget, Tampa Bay in Week 13 held him to a mere 82 receiving yards. I say a mere in quotes because, like I said, he's going on over 100 pretty much every game, you know. But listen, 82 is the under.
Yeah.
Ching, chalk it up. Go out there to your books. Run the numbers up. 6-1. I got two more, fellas. Sammy Watkins. I'm thinking with jamming. Okay, I'll do that one, Coach. That's fine. Keep that.
Didn't send me. You didn't send me that one. I don't have
Sammy Watkins.
No.
Okay, well, I'll throw it out there then.
You can throw it out there. Just put the other one up first, Coach.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So this is a fun one. This is novelty prop. Jersey number of the player to score the first touchdown. Jersey number over 17.5. To me, it looked too easy to take the under. I mean, all your main receivers, except for Antonio Brown, which I wouldn't call him really a main receiver. Your two quarterbacks are under. I think it's a little bit too easy. Now you got both tight ends over that number. You got your running backs over that number. I like the over. I'm gonna go with that. This is a coin toss right here. Who knows? I figured I'd throw it out there for fun and go from there. Last but not least, Sammy Watkins. I didn't throw this out to Coach. Maybe I said to myself, boy, I don't want to be crazy over here.
Let me see. I only got one finger. So
poor Coach. I know you've got a hurt finger. You got to type all this in. Poor Coach.
I felt bad for Coach. I almost sent an apprentice over there, to him to a little secretary.
No, he didn't. You didn't send it. No.
Okay.
The Brady, the Chiefs, Kelce, Fournette, Jersey. No.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give it out anyway. Sammy Watkins, I'm going to give you over 39.5 receiving yards. You get him at even money plus 100. If they do jam Kelce up, they're not going to shut Tyreek Hill down, obviously. But I think, Sammy Watkins was an all-star last Super Bowl. He had 98. I think he had 5 for 98 last Super Bowl. He had a really good game. And I think, there's your X factor right there. If you're going to concentrate on Tyreek Hill, you're going to concentrate on Kelce. Well, there he is, and 39.5 is nothing to me. So I'm going to bet the over. There's my 7. And listen, Coach, I just wanted to say I didn't give this out either, but somehow, by any chance, I go 0 for 7 today, which I don't see it happening. I will be on later on Facebook. Check me out. I'm going to be giving out props for the Lingerie Bowl as well. So, I'm going to get that 30 no matter what it takes.
And the Puppy Bowl too. And one other thing I'll give out too. One of the interesting props on my site was whether Andy Reid. Bless you there, Coach.
Thank you.
Whether Andy Reid would show dick nose because obviously with the mask, if you have it below your nose, you're showing dick nose. Or if you have the mask over the nose, that would be no dick nose. I'm going to go Andy Reid goes no dick nose. So it's going to be right after the anthem. The first shot of Reid, if it's over his nose, it's no dick nose. If it's under his nose, it's dick nose. I'm going to go no dick nose. And if you saw too, some guy had a brilliant idea. Stizz, I don't know if you saw this. He stood outside Tampa Stadium, and he recorded on the clock. He was listening. They were doing the I guess the warm up or the pre of the singing the anthem. Yeah. So he timed it on a stopwatch. So a lot of people, they took it off our site of the over under because it was well over. So they took it off now. I don't know about other sites.
It's a duet. So I was like, I'd go the over right when it's two people. Yeah. It's going to be a longer version. So I would have went over.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Coach. I'll tell you, you got to be a degenerate to bet somebody's prop bets, boy.
I've done it before, but some people just want the action, Stizz. They want to have heads or tails, which in that tails never fails. So if you want to, that's what I do. And tails has gotten like 5 of the last 6. So that's another. I'll bet tails because tails never fails, right, Coach? Tell 'em.
Absolutely, tails never fails.
Listen,
I'll be up on Wednesday to pick up my trophy, Stizz.
That's no problem
with that. But I want to listen, everyone. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to recap all of these bets and, count money. We're going to get a lesson in counting money with Nevada Nick and Stizz.
Make it rain, baby. Make it rain.
So we'll be back tomorrow and regular time, and then we're going to take a little time off, do a little vacay, and then we'll be back for March Madness, obviously, stealing one of Nevada Nick's obviously's in there, obviously.
Is that my? I don't even know. I do it a lot. Obviously,
yes,
obviously. You know what I mean? Obviously,
obviously.
And not just that though, too. March Madness, which we're all excited for because we didn't have it last year. But man, NFL free agency, which we all know is just going to be wild. And we'll be leading into the playoffs too. Our Sixers are looking good for me and Stizz. Coach, your Knicks, they might be the surprise team of the year.
Told you.
Coach, did you say 20 or 25 wins for the Knicks? I forget.
Yeah, I said it was going to be in the 20s. I thought they were going to be right on the outside of the playoff.
Great shot. Great shot.
They would be like the 9. They would be like a 9 seed. They'd be fighting for that 8th spot. That's what I said. So, we'll go from there. So,
and Coach knows nothing about basketball, and he gets it right. The stuff he watches all the time, he can't pick anything. The one thing he knows nothing about, he goes. And the Knicks already have 11 wins. So 11 and 13. So
listen, awesome. Dive Bed Bath and Beyond. Check it out. Got great dusters on sale. And Chris, I did have to buy the trophy because the other one was all banged up. So we got a fresh year coming up. I'm new.
Well, when he takes it to the glory hole and it gets all banged up.
God, here we go.
Yeah.
How do you think he's going to hurt his finger? Let me tell the truth, Coach.
Listen, that's right. Everyone, listen. It's okay. I'm wearing a finger condom for your safety. So, and
you got the AI sleeve for fingers, basically.
That's right. So wait, do you want me to take it off? You want to actually see it?
No, I don't want to see it. No.
I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, everyone. Listen, go enjoy the game. Don't cut your finger open. Stay safe, and if you got weather wherever you're at. So enjoy the game, and we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you share it with your friends, show your friends, and share it. We appreciate it. All right, everyone. Enjoy. Have a safe night.